What's up guys, it's Hanif here, and in this video I'm going to be going over a little problem photographers face, especially when just starting photography. Now the problem is Photoshop or Lightroom, which should you color grade and edit with. In this video I'm going to talk to you guys about that and let you guys and show you guys which to color grade with. So let's get started with the video. What's up guys, it's Hanif here. Before we continue this video, make sure you subscribe to my channel for more content like this, and also turn on my notifications to be notified whenever I drop a new video. Now in this video I'll be going over Photoshop and Lightroom, which you should color grade with. Depends on you, your photographer, which you should choose to color grade with. Now there are two images on your screen, as you can see. One is being color graded with Photoshop, one is being color graded with Lightroom. Now, I just want to get to take a quick second to guess which was color graded Photoshop and which was color graded Lightroom. If you got that right, yes, the one on the left was color graded Photoshop and the one on the right was edited and color graded in Lightroom. And the only main difference here, like I can see, is the fact that the one on the left, there's skin retouching has been done, and the one on the right, there's been no skin retouching yet. I first edited this image in Photoshop, and then I was like, you know what, I would like to get the same results in Lightroom. Now, the thing about Photoshop and Lightroom, the main difference personally I see is the fact that in Lightroom there are more limited options to edit and color grade with. So I feel like you get the result that you get won't be like over edited and like overdone. But in Photoshop there are so many tools to choose from, so you might end up over like editing or over color grading, over retouching and everything, since there are like so many options to go through. So if you are editing with Photoshop, I would advise that you stick to a particular routine of editing so as to not like overdo it. So I advise you practice over and over again with Photoshop. So you choose the tools that you know will be useful whenever you're editing and stick to it. Now I'm just going to go over how I got like almost the same color grading in Photoshop as I did in almost the same color grading in Lightroom as I did in Photoshop. So let's move over to Lightroom and walk you guys through the edits for the image on the right here. So now we're in Lightroom, and this is the image right here. I'm just going to give you guys a quick walkthrough on how I edited this. First, I did the basic adjustments here and reduced the saturation a bit, because I'll reduce the saturation a whole lot in Photoshop. So I did the basic tone curve here. I brought in a little bit of fade, and then I made sure I added blues to the highlights, since that was like the key look here. The blues in the highlights were like the key look here, so I made sure I achieved that. Now moving over to saturation, I brought a lot of these colors down, including the blues and greens as well, so as to not like make it overdone, you get. And then moving over to the U, I didn't do anything on the U. So, and then another key look for this color grading here was the split toning. How I added blues to the highlights to give it that look, the same look I got in Photoshop. Now these were like the main things I did here. So let me move you guys to a little before and after. This is before and after of this image. Like this is like the totally raw image entirely. So this particular image was color graded in Lightroom, and now this is like it's people walk through of how I did in Lightroom. So I basically added blues to the highlights. That was like the key look I was going for, since I did that in Photoshop. Now the reason I did that was because after doing everything in Photoshop, I felt like I went a little bit overboard with the edits. So I like, you know what, let me redo this whole process in Lightroom and see how it goes. So yeah, I redid everything, and this is the result I came up with. Now let's move on to Photoshop and see how I edited the same image in Photoshop and walk you guys through how it was done in Photoshop. And then we come into a little bit of conclusion on which you should edit and color grade with here. So after the basic adjustments in camera raw, I just did basic adjustment camera raw. Now moving over to color grading Photoshop, here's what I did. I saved an action with all the processes I did, most of the processes I did, I mean. So I'm not going to do any skin retouching here because that will be time consuming, and that is not the purpose of this tutorial. The purpose of this tutorial is to show you guys the color grading and how I achieved the same look in Photoshop as I did in Lightroom. Now keep in mind, when color grading, there are three things to keep in mind to think about. Is the highlights, shadows, and midtones. the goal here was to achieve the same colors I did in Photoshop as I did in Lightroom. So let me walk you guys through everything here. Now let me click on my action here, the action I created. As you can see guys, this is the action I created in Photoshop. Let me walk you guys through before and after of this action. So this is before and after. Now what I basically did in action was mostly skin and color changes here. So I edited the skin and colors with selective color, used the black and white and created a luminosity layer to adjust the colors on our skin as well, so to give that more melanin feel. Let me know if you guys would like me to share this action with you guys so you can play with it. So the next thing I did here to get those blue highlights was I selected the subject here with the selection tool here, with quick selection tool. Now I've done a little bit of rough selection here. This is not a best selection, so it's just a quick selection to like show you guys what I did. So now what I did was move over to my channel mixer, and then I use my channel mixer to add those blues in the highlights to give it that feel in the background here. And then what I did next was reduce the opacity basically. So as you can see, this is how I got the look in Photoshop. So I tried the best I could to like replicate the same look in Lightroom, so this was close enough. So now in conclusion, I'm just going to say it doesn't really matter which you edit and collaborate with, it just matters what works with your style. Now if you're going for a more like in-depth editing, Photoshop is the way to go. But if you want a more simpler and limited look, I would advise you switch to Lightroom so you don't like over edit, since there are a bunch of options to use in Photoshop. So that's all for this video. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe to my channel for more content like this, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.